Flip over to page 32. Now, rather than read that page, I want to suggest that you just listen and mentally go along with me. I'm going to attempt to paint a picture in your mind. I want you to image an elderly couple that are living in the backwoods. They've been there all their life. They know nothing except what's in their own immediate environment. Now, this elderly couple have never had an experience of using electricity. All they've ever illuminated their home with is a wax candle or a kerosene lamp. They've had travelers that drop by periodically that have talked about this idea of electricity, but they have never used it. In the latter years of their life, they're transported into a small town. And to their amazement, this house is lighted with little 8-candled bulbs. Now, keep in mind, all they've ever used is the wax candle or the kerosene lamps. Now, to their amazement, they have this electricity. It would truly be magic to them. Now, I want you to imagine if you've just, I don't know, maybe purchased a microwave oven that has a sensory touch. Just the energy coming from your finger will activate the switch, and it would cook a hot dog faster than you could pour a glass of milk. We stand and we look at those things even when we're using them when we're alone. And we laugh, we think, wow, you know. Meaning, it's not able to talk to us, it's not able to laugh with us, but we're amused by this concept. Well, this couple, I would imagine, would go over and they'd touch the switch. Remember, light to them was fire up to that point. And they're amazed that it doesn't burn them. And they just flip the switch, the light's gone, it's dark again. I would imagine they'd look at this, and go, wow, isn't that something? Think of it. Gee. Well, try and experience this in your mind. They have never, ever seen anything like this before. They'd do it together, and then when they were alone, they'd wander over and they'd flip that switch again. See, their expectation would be that of fire, and every time they get near light, they expect it to be burned. But now they're finding that this doesn't burn them. It's much better to read by. If they had a book, they could sit and they'd read it so much easier with this new light than they would have with the old. Well, you know, electricity is very, very much like this power that we use in many respects. If you're going to work with electricity, you must work from a higher to a lower potential. Any engineer, any electrician will be quick to tell you that if you attempt to work from a lower to a higher potential, you'll get no use out of the electricity. Certainly no positive use. They'll also tell you that electricity can cook a person's dinner or it can cook the person. And the truth is, we have used it for both on occasion. You can use the electricity to freeze food, or you can use electricity to fry the food. It can be used one way or another. One day, after this elderly couple had become used to this new concept, and they can turn the light on without any fear of being burned, and they're used to these little 8-candle powered bulbs, a traveler knocks on their door. The traveler is holding a light bulb. And he's saying, those little bulbs are no good anymore. There's enough light from them. The illumination, it's limited. What you really need is one of these 60 candle powered bulbs. Those little 8 candle powered bulbs are really next to useless. The elderly couple, of course, doesn't really know what the traveler's talking about. Why, he said, you know that one of these bulbs would illuminate this room to a greater degree than all of these bulbs put together. He said, let me show you. And he goes around and he loosens all the little bulbs but one. Then he takes the one remaining bulb that's burning and he takes it right out of the socket and he puts in the 60 candle powered bulb, and wham, to their amazement, that entire room is illuminated like daylight. They have difficulty believing that so much light could come from one bulb. Now I want you to imagine that traveler attempting to tell that elderly couple that the magic is not in the bulb, that the power had always been there. They'd say, oh no way, the magic's in the bulb. You go back to the electrician or the engineer, and they'll tell you that the only limits placed on this power that we call electricity, that is illuminating this stage, the only limits placed on it are the limits that's placed on the form through which it flows, namely the transformer or the bulb. Likewise, the only limit that's placed on this power are the limits that's placed on the form through which it flows. And if you want to illuminate your life to a greater degree, all that is necessary is for you to build a bigger idea, understand the laws of this power, impregnate this part of your personality with that bigger idea, and you will see your results change just as fast as the light in that room changed. Now, I'm going to give you an excellent example. At the break, I had a gentleman come over and talk to me. He's sitting right over here on my left. And he showed me something. I read you a letter yesterday, or in an earlier lesson, where Joanne White from Kansas City told me about her son going to the seminar in 1976 and the change that took place. That letter was dated February 1986. There's this gentleman sitting on the side here. Do you want to stand up for a minute, please? He came to the seminar in February 1986. What were you earning prior to that, Al?
Approximately $18,000.
$18,000. I'm going to relate that to the little 8-candle powered bulb. Al, approximately what are you earning today per year?
Approximately $500.
$500,000. He didn't even mess around with the 60-candle power bulb. He shot right up to 100. Now, I referred to my son's manager yesterday. This man has the same manager. And I was mentioning that your environment is vitally important. See, not only is Brian fortunate enough to have the same manager, he's fortunate enough to have an associate like Al. There are 20,000 agents selling real estate in Al's company. Is that correct, Al?
That's within RE/MAX International.
There's 20,000.
Correct.
How many of the 20,000, Al, now think of the way I'm asking you the question, of 20,000, how many of them sell more in a year than you do?
About 13.
He stands number 14 out of 20,000. 5,000 salespeople. Many of these people would be in the business for a number of years. Al's been in the business since February 1986. How many in Canada sell more than you, Al?
7.
Changes daily, I guess. When you handed this to me at the break, and that's when he gave it to me, what did you tell me made the difference?
Just changing my attitude and following some of the things that I've picked up through your seminars.
You came to a seminar shortly after you started.
Exactly.
And he took these ideas, and look what he's done with them. Give him another hand. Thank you, Al. You know, I mentioned early in the book that reading and memorizing this information does absolutely no good. I've been in this business a long, long time. I've been in it just about as long as Brian's been living. And I have watched many people come in and go out of this business. Many of them could talk very intelligently about this, but only a few ever really learned how to use it. You've got to stick with this. And you have to take these lessons serious. They sound a little silly at times, but it's like the little young guy from Burlington that I mentioned, Tim Krochuk. He said, although this stuff may sound hokey, it works. You see, Al went from an $18,000 idea to a $500,000 idea. This power doesn't recognize difference. It just takes whatever you give to it and turns it into form.
I was just reading from Belief in the Torchbearer series. You just saw your Mark. He obviously believed what John suggested to him. We received a call here just recently in our office. Mark's last report card, he received 82. 82 in his last report card. Al Spazzeri obviously believed he had a $500,000 idea locked up within him. You see, Mark was always capable of getting the 82, and Al was always capable of earning the $500,000 a year. You're capable of doing what you want. You believe, and you can do it. Is there a better position in your life? Is there a better report card in your life? Believe.